What's going on, VC? Joachim here. I hope everybody's doing well. Cheers. Not that anybody cares, but the reason why I'm here in Discord today, it's because, and also the reason why I haven't been putting more videos here more frequently is because we had a major leak in our house, and we have been living in my record room. So finally, things seem to be coming to an end, and there's some room to breathe. And I decided to come up with a quick video to share with you guys. This video, I'm naming these like 10 underrated punk albums, punk records. It's kind of more like a attention grab, really. I just grabbed these 10 records as I was sitting there listening to music and having a cold one. And I grabbed records that I know I never shared. And I thought, like, yeah, this is some good shit here, and also try to pick things that I felt like I could use it to, throw my 2 cents of bullshit, when it comes to present, the future, and the past. Yeah, so let's take a look at this. First of all, let's start with this album. I actually listened to this full record before I jump into Discord to do this video. That's what I listened to. I haven't listened to this in a long time. Sonic Dolls, Draw Their Knives for Real Takes on Body Fakes. This is fantastic. The best way to describe this to you, if you're not familiar with this, it's like if you are a Screeching Weasel fan, this full record, top to bottom, there's no filler, great songs, but it's like the best of Screeching Weasel. It's one of those very Ramones inspired band, but it's not like full on Ramones worship. It's almost like Screeching Weasel worship. Like Screeching Weasel, Booga Booga Da, Wiggle era. If you love that shit, you'll love this. This is fantastic. It's great. When it comes to the lyrics, great lyrics. Some lyrics that if you're not comfortable with your sexuality, you might make you cringe, but it's punk rock, you should be open-minded. Yeah, this is absolute banger. I don't know if I'm doing any justice in this description, but trust me, if you do like early stages of the best of Screeching Weasel, this is for you. It is fucking a ripper. This came out on Radio Blast Recordings. I believe Sonic Dolls, they were from Germany, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I don't remember the year on this. But this is definitely overlooked record. It's fantastic. A record that I remember clearly when this record came out. At the time, I was not doing videos, but I was keeping my eye on the DC. Sure, someone probably mentioned this, but I don't recall seeing this record as one of the best of the year itself. But for me, this was my favorite record from that year. And this is an absolutely ripper that came out on Sorry State Records. I believe 2016, something like that. 17 maybe. And this is Slippy When Wet. Their single. Everything you see by these guys, just grab it. This is money on the bank. I think this record was so overlooked, or you got hyped up for a minute and was shelved. This is fantastic. This record, these guys, when you listen to this, I wrote down like I hear this is for me is like a crossover of the best of early stages of American hardcore. It's kind of like I can hear Middle Class, I can hear Crucifix, and I can hear early Poison Idea in this record. The lyrics are bright, on point. It's fantastic. They add these sludgy elements to their sound, but it's just like minor hints of sludge. This record is clearly done by people that love punk rock. They are accomplished musicians and know a lot about punk rock. All these people, they draw their inspiration from a lot of subgenres throughout the history of punk rock. This is fantastic, guaranteed. If you never listen to this and if you give this a go, you will be pleasantly surprised, to say the least. Fantastic, love this shit. Well, next one is more of a classic. Is more of a classic, but the reason I decided to share this record, it's also, it goes along with my stage in life, and we talk a lot about here. You guys have been sticking around. You guys know that I like to, be a little incendiary and provocateur at times. But that's just a result of how I feel about life. I've never been here as a record connoisseur that I'm gonna fucking break down to you all the records are made, where they come from, and all that. So, punk rock passion for me is much more than the music itself. It's for the things that I believe stands, and we will stand, always stand for, right? It's music for the weirdos, for the ones that don't fit in or don't want to fit in but don't want to be informed. And I think this is a record that it's an absolute classic. Some will say power violence, whatever. This is straight up American, fierce, brutal American hardcore. Talk about Siege. This came out, I believe, in 81 or 80. Let me see if he says 84. It came out in 1984. Okay, 84. This is like a reissue on Deep Six Records for, I don't know, like 15, 20 years ago. But it's not for the faint of heart. The ones that know this probably will celebrate this as a classic, an essential record, at least from a historic standpoint of American punk rock. But the reason why I brought this, because I just want to read something to you, and considering the social moment or climate that we live worldwide, when it seems like there's like a identity crisis, right? People seem to be standing for things or against things, or voting for someone or against the other ones without being informed. It seems like, to me, this is my perspective, it seems like a lot of what we experience, that you will set up your future, all right? This shit is setting up what's to come. It seems to be, a lot of it seems to be based on just being part of something. It doesn't seem to be informed, individualized. It seems like people are not taking their time to make their own take their own informed conclusions as an individual, and then decide what they want to stand for or stand against. So I'm just gonna read to you 84, Siege, brutal American hardcore. This Conform. Just check these lyrics. Conform. This shit was written 41 years ago. Conform. Monkey see, monkey do, monkey ass, low IQ. Copycat, conform, contort. For the sake of your own comfort. Don't dare ask questions, just accept it. Blend in. Bunch of fucking mindless goons. Listen to the same old tunes. Look at me, call me strange. Haven't got the balls to change. Haven't got a mind of your own, just another zombie clone. Slave of the majority, no individuality. Dress the same, be accepted. Your true self might be rejected. Afraid to try something new. Afraid of what others think of you. Conform. Do what is the norm. Proper dress required, or you won't be hired. But that's the thing. It seems like these people that decided to, for instance, I'm gonna use the United States as an example. People that decided to vote for the elected president, right? It's okay. You had your own convictions and you voted for what we have. It's fine. That is perfectly fine, right? But it's not fine. It's not fine to refuse to see the facts. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to say, man, I really fucked up this time. Well, now I know better. It's okay. But now we seem to live in a world that people are so fucking self-centered and so focused on what others think of themselves that they're not receptive to fucking feedback of any form. And that's not wise in my opinion. But anyways, Siege, classic banger. This is a fantastic record. From Luxembourg, for the skinheads out there, for the Oi fans, for any punk rock fan, because even though even though these guys are all skinheads from Luxembourg, this sounds like a punk rock record. In punk rock with that, hard-hitting, tough, early Sham 69 feel to it. Anthemic, I will tell you, go listen to the song Here and Now. This is an absolute classic. I believe this is 2001 on Blind Beggar Records. But the reason why I picked up this record was also to throw something out here. These guys in 2001, they had the need, again, to write these on a inner sleeve. The Skin Flicks are not affiliated to any political party and support no limitations to personal and cultural liberty. Okay. Please note that the band's lyrics reflect no intent to injure or harm any selected members of the human society. They are thought to express anger at the injustice the members of a subcultural scene might suffer due to latent or open intolerance in general society. So, isn't that fucked up that 25 years passed, right? 25 years ago, and actually 40 years ago, some bands, they had to put these little liner notes saying, hey, don't come at me that way because that's not what we meant, Within punk rock, this little mentality happens a lot. Like this, creating gossiping myths, and punk rock is supposed to be a space for everyone. It's supposed to be a space that you embrace everyone, and then, yes, if you can, provide some guidance, or, just, hey, you might want to consider things in a different way. That's the space punk rock should be. It shouldn't be a fucking place. It should be the last place in the world that people have to justify what they're singing about, because they're afraid that people still refuse to accept that we are individuals and we have different views, different opinions. Just because we have different opinions doesn't mean necessarily that we mean harm. That doesn't mean necessary that we are full of hate, full of prejudice. It doesn't mean that. So my point of sharing these couple records with you today is just to bring, that consciousness, like punk rock. Please, if you claim that punk rock is your bread and butter, that is the sound of that is the sound of your story, that is what that plays an important role in your life as an individual, do not judge fucking people until at least you know them. That's it. Skinflix, banger right here. And this is called Lies, Damned Lies, and Skinhead Stories. This is a banger. This is an absolute ripper of a record. And it's just tough for me to describe this record. But I know these songs by heart. I don't listen to these in a while, but I know these by heart. This is from New Jersey, Sticks and Stones. This is a double-sided 12-inch called 1987, because these records were recorded in 1987. But this came out, I don't know, in 2009. Yeah. And I gotta say this record is on my top 5 favorite 80s, mid-80s, late 80s recordings. It was an era of a lot of crossover, a lot of metal influences and stuff like that. These guys had like this peculiar American early hardcore sound with some rock and roll edge to it. Brilliant lyrics. And I'm gonna tell you this, if you never listen to this record, you'll have to. And my description to you, and I think you would make absolute sense when you listen to this, is that this record sounds real, which is something for me unique. One thing that I've been struggling is like to get really interested in then what's going on, what is new that is going on. I tend to gravitate to weird shit because there's a lot of things that sound good. It is a good sound, but it's kind of like repeating a formula. It's kind of like almost, young people, celebrate. It's kind of like that nostalgia for an era that they never experienced. So kind of gets, that realness, that connection that you can make to present time gets lost. This thing sounds fucking real. I don't know how to explain this. You listen to this and you didn't live this, but you will understand it. You will be there. This is a ripper, an absolutely ripper. This is beauty. This is American punk, American punk rock with a hardcore kick at its best, in my opinion. Sticks and Stones, 1987. Give this a go. Well, this is underrated, in my opinion, too. Highly celebrated in the Midwest, in Chicago for sure. One of the first Strike Under debut. 1981 on Wax Trax. This is phenomenal. These guys, they held their ground. Like what they do here, first of all, just for you to get a picture, if you're not familiar with this, they do probably the best ever attempt to cover Gang of Four Damaged Goods ever. One thing, their sound is those Chicago. People can say whatever the fuck they want to say about Chicago, but when you listen to a band from Chicago, you know from Chicago. I don't know, maybe something in the water. I don't know. These bands in Chicago that were able to make a name for themselves, I think it's fair to say that the Chicago ones, they do not keep with the Jonases. They kind of go against the grain. So, and what you hear here, it's like a band that could be playing way faster, way tougher, because it was 81, right? No, they're tough as fuck, but not a fast-paced band. You know, they have like those almost, I don't know. You can tell that these guys are like Joy Division, right? You could tell that these guys, appreciate new wave. It's a band that I think is a band apart. I think Strike Under is just a band apart. These guys knew what they were all about and they stuck to it. And is one of my favorite records from their era. Is I think the Effigies was probably heavily inspired by them. Of course, the Effigies, they had the most extra punch with their all hardcore and, I guess maybe keeping up with the Jonases. Strike Under, unique, phenomenal record. I didn't prepare myself to do this today, but to be like, give you more, I don't know, opinion with more detailed information from a sonic standpoint, but this is just brilliance. Fucking listen to it and give me your review. That's it. A record that falls through the cracks. Everybody knows this record, but it does fall through the cracks. And it does fall through the cracks because it sucks, or it does fall through the cracks because follows a fantastic debut. Well, certainly it doesn't suck. However, it's not that he cannot keep up with the quality of the debut. It's just because there's a shift on the sound approach. The lyricism pretty much the same, but there's a difference in sound. I think at this point they were probably aiming for the airwaves, so they wanted to be a little bit more polished. But this is a fantastic record that nobody talks about. Undertones, second album, Hypnotise. Yeah, there comes Norman, my perfect cousin, Caesar Ripper, start to finish, and often, forgotten. Let me know your thoughts on Hypnotise. I decided to show this one. This is not an album, this is like a comp, but you can grab all their 7 inches for like $1 or $2, just to celebrate them a bit, because it was a fucking cool band in the 90s. Not a brilliant band, but it was a band that, deserves to be mentioned. And there's one thing about this band. I'm talking about Snapper. It says it smells, it burns, it stings again. This is like a German comp on Riot Records. Again, probably like 20 years ago, some shit like that. But this band, man, they have some songs like, if you like early L7, you'll love this shit. It's pretty straightforward. uh, female vocalist, well, bassist and vocalist, rest in peace. Like straightforward punk rock, some goofy ass lyrics, but do they have that the L7 sound here and there? I'm just gonna tell you, if you never heard of Snapper, just go listen to songs such as Conformist Cunt, Postal Worker, uh, Jimmy Gestapo, and Penile Implant. What about that? Do you think we're gonna hear about penile implants on Epstein files? That would be hilarious. Pretty sure you're gonna hear about some prosthetics and shit. But anyways, fantastic record. This record, I think since I joined the VC and I started coming up with videos to share. One idea that I had, I wanted to do, and I've been lagging on it for at this point for at least 2 years. I wanted to do a video about great comeback albums or great albums by old school bands that 20 years later, 30 years later, they were still able to fucking deliver a banger. A band that did it better than the big majority, in my opinion. This record is fucking amazing. This is what? I think this record came out in 2000. Because I remember seeing him on this tour. Well, came out in December of 1999, so in 2000. Okay. Godfathers, Pathetic Punk. I'm not talking about titles, I'm talking about Spludeness, Abounds. This record, a musical journey through the scrap yards of Mongolia. Yeah. Not PC. We're talking about Spludeness, Abounds. This record is fucking brilliant. If you like Splodge, and you never heard the early stuff and never heard this, you're gonna fucking be obsessed with it. It is perfect. Great tunes, like the shenanigans with the auto-tune saxophones. This is like straight up pogo punk, drunk punk, food fight shenanigans record. This is absolutely brilliant. I highly encourage you to give this a go. You will be pleasantly surprised if you never heard of this song. Poochie. Listen to the song. Poochie. And last but not least, now, serious. One of my favorite German punk albums of all time. I think this is a record that truly defines German punk. You know, that toughness, UK 82 based, but some elements of more dark nature. This is probably the most deceptive album cover in music history. This is an absolutely banger. If you don't know nothing about 80s German punk, this is what it is, along with Slime. But Slime is more easy to the ear. This is a record that, to me, is one of those records that truly defines the German sound. If you're not familiar with this record, go check it out. This is an absolute banger. Talking about Torpedo Moscow. Malanka. Look at this cover. You will not buy this record by the cover unless you like new wave. There's no new wave in here. This is an absolute banger. Yeah, as I said, this is a banger. This is a record that, if you're not familiar with 80s, early 80s German punk, and you go with this one, you might open a rabbit hole and discover a multitude of amazing bands. Anyways, this as usual probably quite sloppy. I'll be more consistent. Hopefully this weekend me and George will do something to put out here. My head's been kind of messed up with all the shit I've been having to deal with. If you have any suggestions, anything you want to throw it my way, please do. And yeah, meanwhile, you guys take care. Go listen to some fucking killer punk rock, because there's punk rock out there for days, years, maybe centuries. You know, maybe the world will collapse, but punk rock, but we'll still find place to jam to some punk tunes, I guess. You guys take care. Cheers.